Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church in Columbia, South Carolina, where we're part of the ELCA. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. Johnny Erickson Tada tells a powerful story of forgiveness. It involved a brother and a sister, Brent and Lisa, who one day learned in Sunday school about Jesus saying to forgive another person 70 times 7. The two of them figured out that that meant 490 times, and since Lisa was often doing things to her brother, she decided to make a chart listing each offense and keeping track of the number. When they were teenagers, Lisa took a call about a date and a time for an important audition for Brent for a scholarship which would begin his career as a musician. But she forgot to say anything about it until she realized her error 2 days past the audition time. Believing she had ruined his life, she estranged herself from the family and took a job in another city. Years later, she ran into a neighbor from her hometown who told her that Brent had been killed in an accident. Lisa went home, devastated. A few days later, she got the box from the closet where she kept her chart. In the box, she found a note from Brent. The first page read, "Dear Lisa, it was you who kept count, not me. But if you're stubborn enough to keep count, use the new chart I have made for you. Love, Brent." Lisa turned to the second page, where she found a chart just like the one she had made as a child, but on this one the lines were drawn in perfect precision. And unlike the chart she had kept, there was but one check mark in the upper left-hand corner. Written in red felt-tip pen over the entire page were the words, number 491, forgiven forever. What a powerful message of grace and love, one we all need to hear. Perhaps we know it innately, that God doesn't keep track like Lisa did. Perhaps we need to apply it in the forgiveness we offer others. Certainly, it seems like Joseph did. This week we are considering stories in the Bible that teach us about forgiveness, and the story of Joseph and his brothers is one of the most powerful examples of that. Like we did yesterday with Jacob and Esau, let's just run down a list of the crimes his brothers did against Joseph. When he was a young boy and dreamed of his future, they laughed at him and ridiculed him. When their father clearly liked Joseph best and gave him a special garment, they scorned him. In fact, it was so bad that when he came out into the field to check on them, they planned to kill him, their own brother. They put him down in a cistern to languish and starve, and then they sat down for lunch. While they were eating, a caravan came by, and they realized they could solve their problem and get paid for it too by selling their brother into slavery in Egypt. It's a serious list of offenses. You likely know of Joseph's adventures in Egypt and how he ended up as second only to Pharaoh in all the land. That's when his brothers showed up again, coming to Egypt to buy food because of a famine. Joseph recognized them, but they didn't recognize him. Imagine the scenario and the delicious revenge Joseph could now wreak against these nasty brothers who did so much wrong to him. He had powerful and position, and at the very least he could refuse to sell them food, and he could even do worse. However, that's not what he did. In Genesis 45, Joseph meets with his brothers, and then Joseph could no longer control himself before all those who stood by him, and he cried out, "Send everyone away from me." So no one stayed with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept so loudly the Egyptians heard it, and the household of Pharaoh heard it. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" But his brothers could not answer him, so dismayed were they at his presence. Well, I think dismay might be an understatement. They knew what they had done, and they were probably filled with dread. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come closer to me." And they came closer. He said, "I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life." Joseph inquires about his father and promises to care for and provide for all the family. He had all the power and instead acted in love. He acted in forgiveness. These brothers were dismayed, but Joseph says to them, "It was you who kept count, not me. You are my brothers. What you did is forgiven forever." The wrongs were real, and Joseph had not forgotten them, but he chose not to let those stand in the way of his relationship with his brothers. It's not about an individual's wounded pride, but about the bonds of love and community. Joseph offers us a powerful story of forgiveness, one that calls us to forgive those who wrong us. We are called not to divide, but to preserve life. May God give us the grace to live it. Thanks for sharing these moments with me, and remember to let this day belong to God.